What's up, fam? Market's crashing. What are the targets? Is it going lower? What do we need to be paying attention to? We're going to be covering that and more really quick, diving into some TA, showing you some levels, showing you what has been telegraphed in the charts before this happened. So let's talk about it. Everybody get involved. Let's be active. We did set a goal today. And it's going to be a little bit shorter stream because I have to be done by 11:55, but we got some monster data that we have to look at. So if we get 5 super chats, we will pick a drawing giveaway winner from today's retweets on anybody that's, if you go over to the @KellyKellam page on Twitter or @Academy BitLab, I am retweeting it as we speak on the, what do you call it, on the BitLab Academy page. But let's look at these levels. Let's see what's going on here. We're going to be diving right in. It says 2 minutes, but we're going to be going in before that because we need to talk about what's going on in this market. We got to look at these levels. We are doing this together. Is this opportunity or is this the end of the bull market? That is the question right now. We need to figure out what we're doing. So with that being said, let's turn off this countdown. Let's dive in. Every single one of you that is paying attention, I love you. I appreciate you because you know what? As I said, we are doing this together. And you know what? We went under $100,000, which means the BitLab deal is back on the table for the day. If we end up closing the day back above this, of course, that deal is going to expire again. But of course, if you lock it in, you get to keep it regardless of if it expires. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's talk about this data. Let's get into it. Bam. The market is crashing. It's over. It's done with. Everything we just been waiting for. It was so short-lived. The bull market is absolutely done because the price action came right down into the target that we outlined for you here on the BitLab. When the price was pushing up here and starting to round out a bit, we said, hey, man, let's go ahead and draw a box down here because this is where I think the price is going to go. And this is exactly what happened. So does it have something to do with Jerome Powell making a comment that was kind of, I mean, in my interpretation before that was already something that was kind of baked in. So regardless of what that comment was, is it really the reason the market crashed in crypto? Because when you go through the data, it wasn't just crypto that crashed, but what's going to happen here is going to let us know what's going to happen probably over the next week or two. Are we going to get that move down here to 96, 97? Are we going to lose that and come down here into the lower 90s? Let's talk about that, all that and more. Everybody, how you doing? I'm excited about this. This is kind of what we've needed in the market. As bullish as I've been on a bias level, I've been breaking down the data about the likely and the needed sort of look for that risk managed. Hey, what if it goes the other way? And that's why we always look both directions, regardless of your bias. I do want to shout out everybody that's in the room right now. We do have that goal set, 5 super chats, $5 or more. We will pick a giveaway from those of you that are retweeting the stream over here on @KellyKellam. You see, hit that retweet, hit that like button. Sorry, let me pull it up. Right here, if you go on the page @KellyKellam, it's this post right here. Hit that retweet, hit that like button. If you're watching on Twitter, all you have to do is minimize it or whatever, hit the retweet, show some love, get active in the live chat. You see there's a live chat right here. Hello, everyone. When you type in there, I could see it. It pops up right here with all the chats I see from YouTube as well. But go ahead, see this, how it's big. Just back out and hit that retweet and then make it big again. But now, everybody, let's talk about what's going on. The site can't be reached. Yes, it can. Oh my God, we've crashed down. We've crashed to $3.46 trillion. Guys, this is all normal, healthy market behavior. So let's not lose our minds because we're seeing a little bit of a pullback. I've been saying, man, this is running away. Are we not going to see dips? Well, now we're getting a little bit of a dip, and it's not even that big when you look at this comparatively. And I outlined this yesterday. Look at 8% so far is the deepest we've gone. If we go down here to this level, that'd be 10%. If we come down in here, this would only be 13% to the top side, about 15% to the bottom side. If we do come down and test the lows here of this range, that would bring us down to about 20%. And of course, let's go ahead and measure the full scope. If we come all the way down here and flush out down to that CME futures gap, that would be 28%. And that would feel like the end of the world for those of the people in the market that are not paying attention. But again, when you zoom out on this chart and you look back in time, we've seen a litany of, I mean, I didn't even count all these. There's 11 moves from this low all the way to the top that were 15% or more. There's, I think, 8 moves that are over 26% to 40% or more on the way up here. So what we're seeing right now, it's literally not even par for the course. It's still the most luxurious market. I mean, look at this. I talked about this potentially coming into the zone. Look, lost it, came back, rejected. We have been nailing these calls for those of you that have been tuned in. So let's stay tuned in because we got a lot more to cover. Again, this is going to be a little bit shorter show today, because guys, there's so much going on in the back end. I got some really great things coming, and I'll like really great things. That's why I've been hustling so hard. But this is that comment. Fed is not allowed to own Bitcoin. Well, they also weren't allowed to own corporate bonds before COVID. And also, will it be something that just the Fed owns, or will it be, remember, because the Fed is not a part of the government, will it likely be another mechanism or another way that Bitcoin gets put on some sort of balance sheet or some sort of holding? We're going to have to wait and see. But again, this is not the reason why I really believe. Maybe this was a little bit of spark on the bearishness, but when we really dive in and we see that the S&P 500 also just posted its largest drop since March 2020, erasing $1.8 trillion. This is not crypto. This is not Bitcoin. This is not altcoins. This is the general market. So the question is it Bitcoin just dropping because it's failed? Or does it have something more to do with the risk off behavior from the comments that Jerome Powell made, not about Bitcoin, but about, hey, we're getting less rate cuts next year than expected, likely, and we're seeing a little bit more of that increase in inflation. And if you realize what Bitcoin is and what the crypto ecosystem provides, you would realize that this is bullish. In the immediate term, does that mean it's going to create some volatility, speculative opportunity with dips? Sure. But why does that matter? Because Bitcoin is supposed to, or could be, one of those tools, digital financial tools, that is supposed to meet the broken Fed system, the broken dollar, the broken inflation. So if we're getting more signs that inflation is going to persist, that is fucking bullish as hell for the long term of Bitcoin. When you realize that, you will celebrate dips and realize that they're buying opportunity so long as that you can hold through some of the volatility or identify ways you can get capital in this market. Shout out to my boy in the room, Crypto Billy. We're going to have him on the stream tomorrow. So shout out to him being in the room. We got K-Jam, the Gray Family, Andy D, Green Day Prophet, Sawtooth. So many people are here on a daily basis. Let's get back into it again, because this is going to be a little bit shorter show. And what we're seeing right now, let's see. Let's go. Member for 13 months, Crypto Billy. Big love there. Now, everybody, looking at the price action here on the 1 hour chart, you can see that this, and I talked about this, these patterns that point to the upside, and I don't mean like on a, like on a daily, like see how like this kind of consolidated up. This very likely could have that move down, but we've seen a lot of consolidations up and then the breakouts, but there has to be, or regularly there is, some sort of shakeout before that move. It can't be so easy that everybody can identify it. If everybody's expecting up, it's going to go down. If everybody's expecting down, it's going to go up. Now, that does not mean on the macro terminal outcome of what this is going to do, because overwhelmingly, when you look at Bitcoin, this is a monthly chart. This is just a macro bullish trend. Rise, retrace, continuation. Retrace, continuation. Retrace, continuation, or the start of it. And we're looking for the breakout above, I would say at least into this 140 to 180 sort of zone. In my opinion, will likely go higher, but we need to just mitigate our emotions when we're zoomed in here on the 15-minute chart and we go, oh my God, it's breaking down. This is all we see. It's over. No, this is the start of an opportunity. There was some opportunity here, a little better opportunity here. And it, of course, there's going to be quote unquote better opportunity if it drops lower, but it starts becoming a risk adjustment. What's the asymmetric opportunity? Because the strength of this trend, you may, if you're just holding out to buy at 93, or if you're just holding out to buy at 87, or if you're just holding out to buy back down here in the 77 sort of zone, you know, where that CME futures gap is, this becomes less likely. And this is why you ladder your entries with opportunities on dips, especially when we're just kicking in to a very strong trend. So when we look at this, let's exit out of that. When we realize that it's not just Bitcoin, it's not over. It's just the fact that we're seeing a little bit of risk off mentality right now because of that FOMC Fed rate decision. We got the cut, but then what did I say yesterday morning before this happened? You get the data point of the cut decision, and then you get the tonality analysis. What am I talking about? What is the tone of Jerome Powell's discussion about what's going on in terms of their forward-looking approach into 2025? And it got a little more hawkish, which tends to be a little bit more of a retractory sort of approach to the market in terms of risk, meaning less money, at least for a period of time, gets very excited about risk assets. And to me, Bitcoin is the least risky asset, but because it is still new on the global scene, it is still tied into that risk narrative. So when risk comes out, Bitcoin has a little bit of trouble. It all goes down to the certainty about where the economy and where the markets are going. So when we continue on, we also see this other data point. If you guys watched that short I put out this morning, this is following Bitcoin still tracking the global M2, aka the fuel for risk or the fuel for de-risk. Fuel for risk is when the M2 money supply, which is the white line, is going up. This is saying, hey, look at this, ticks up, and then Bitcoin follows shortly after. Now look at this. This has been breaking down. Is this suggesting that Bitcoin is going to have a little bit of a correction? Maybe so. I mean, it's been tracking it pretty damn spot on for a good, better part of the lifetime of Bitcoin. So is this a bad thing? Maybe it delays when we get that alt season. Maybe it delays when we get that 150 or that 200. But mark my words, it will happen. We just get a little too abundantly, overwhelmingly excited about, we got a new administration. They're not in the office yet. We're going to have the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. That's not approved yet. So these things are talking points that people were buying in speculation that is not yet happening. And we're starting to see it, that bullish narrative, I don't want to say unwind, but the realization that there's a bit more work to do before we get to have the party. And that's okay. Let's make the fucking party nicer. We have more time to make the party nicer. What do I mean by making the party nicer? Let's stack. Let's hold. Let's figure out what our strategy is going into the next 6 months and in the next 6 years and in the next 15 years. We need to be stop being so emotionally tied to the price action happening right now. It went to 108. It didn't go to 114 like the target. Well, hey, let's just mind our P's and Q's and let the market do the work. And then we continue on and we see, but on the flip side, there's a little bit of bullishness potential in that every time Bitcoin 4-hour RSI has been at these levels since October, it has bounced strongly. Well, every trend can be broken. Now, in this case, look, RSI came very deep. RSI came very deep. RSI came very deep. Now look at how it correlates. The price still corrected a little bit lower, but then boom, we got the shot. See right here, got the shot. RSI bottomed here. We had one more little move down, spring. It's the trampoline, boom, launch. Same thing. We went low right here, low twice. The first time was right here. Price went a little lower, then launch. Okay, the low is here. This is actually right about little double bottom, W formation, then launch. Okay, we got the low, but remember, on 3 or 4 of these cases back here, we did have another impulse down before the launch. In this case, this was done at 5:37 this morning, and this is the 4-hour chart. This is already kind of rotated back down, and we're kind of testing a potential double bottom, as you can see right here. If this can hold, this would be great. Maybe this is a washout we needed, this sort of trap. Everybody's now wondering if we're going to crash further. If this holds here, let's look at the RSI. If this holds here, let's see, from here to here, RSI, it's pretty flat. We're getting a little bit of hidden bullish divergence there, but not clear. This is on the 15-minute. That's just not what I'm looking for. 4-hour, this is what we're looking for. All right. So from here to here, the RSI is lower. See, The RSI, boom. I'm looking at the purple line. That is way too light. You guys cannot even see that. I can barely see that. Boom. So we see from here to here is lower in the same time period. From here to here, it's roughly about the same. So there's almost, it's not quite there. It's almost a hidden bullish divergence. But I think that's a little bit of hopium. If I had to guess, this will likely try to trap people here and actually have a move down. I do think we'll likely get down into the zone, the $97,000 to $96,000. But what does the liquidation data say? Let's go ahead and expand this just a little bit. There we go. We are on the 24-hour. There's a little bit of liquidity below us down here at 99,000, a little bit more down here in the 98s. Let's actually go to the 12-hour here. Look at that. There's a pretty nice little node right down here at that $98,000. So although you see how you can make an assessment, and then in some ways you want to pick apart an assessment to see if it holds any weight. This is suggesting a move right back down here into this 98 zone. The question is going to be, as that happens, what do the order books look like? What does a sentiment sort of morph into? Because these things can change on a dime. Now, maybe this is a washout. We get this W formation and we start pushing back up. However, there is a little bit of the wind that was taken out of the room for the bulls. So let's be cognizant of that. Now, although this does look like we could be setting up for a break to the upside, we also have to contend with, look at this momentum, kind of the same, but now larger momentum, smaller momentum, smaller momentum. Is this already sort of evaporating in that sort of bullish momentum case to where we're going to get a bit of a washout and move to the downside? We're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. Ultimately, we could have a pretty big washout and still end the month up way above 110. The market is very, very, very on a razor's edge right now about what's happening. So let's not get so emotional about these moves. I actually called this out yesterday, frustrated with Bitcoin, crypto market dip, and not celebrating the healthy move this is. This is quite healthy. Well, the bullish structure, this is building a bullish structure. Even if we dip further, it actually becomes more healthy. Then you're not understanding the market trend structures. If you're frustrated with this, then you're being too biased about what you want versus taking advantage of what the market is providing. It was in the chart. We talked about it, head and shoulders here. Also the weakening of the momentum coming up into this. Up in here, we talked about, we drew this box and I said, and I shared this also in the BitLab Discord. Right over here. This was 4 o'clock yesterday. And before this happened on the live stream yesterday morning in the members Turbo TA, but if you are in the BitLab Discord, it's right here in the Kelly Alpha. I'm sharing these about 2, 3, 4 times a week. It kind of changes throughout the week, but regularly I talked about this move down into the zone. And then what happened? The price action came right into the zone. Does this mean it's over? No, we're kind of wrestling with this pretty understandable trend line at the zone. If we lose this area, then we already have a roadmap. It's coming down, likely a test down into the 96, but likely down here into this 92. That would ultimately upset the most people. And then we see right in here, we've got a downtrend now that's been established. I said, update, if price holds here, it could be a double bottom, this boom, 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 boom. Unfortunately, I feel like this is a bit optimistic. If I had to guess, price will test down to the 96 level. If we breach that lower, then we'll likely be moving down to the $92,000 level. It is in play. So we need to be aware of that. Now, looking at where we're at right now, let's get on a smaller time frame, 24-minute. Is there bullishness to be had? Well, money flow at negative. It tried to pop positive. It's just not really giving us much. The VWAP quite deep. I would be watching here. I'd be watching here if this does start pushing up. This is the immediate level we're watching for resistance, which is right about 102.5, 102.6. The next level up, I mean, that's kind of right in that zone, 102.5 to 102.6, up to about 103.3. So let's draw a box to outline what it is we're watching. And this is going to kind of be the barometer for all your altcoins as well. Even if you don't hold Bitcoin, you got to pay attention to what's happening right now, because if this does bounce up, the threshold, the barometer here about what's happening is if this does push up, if it cannot clear not only this high, but these lows right here, 103.4, $103,400, then this is a fake out and will likely come back down and wash back out to the downside. If this does start rolling over even on this lower level, cannot even get up to this, then I do think we need to, the immediate area we're watching is this liquidity directly below us at 98.7 and, potential wick into this zone. Sorry, potential wick. Where's my marker? Potential wick 98.7 into this zone. And if it's not just a wick and we see follow through, then we are making that move to the downside. Now, continuing on, I had a couple other things I wanted to show. We also see on the altcoins, as scary as it is, we're actually still in a pretty bullish structure with this sort of midterm bull pennant, as we see right here. The question is going to be if the alts continue to bleed a bit, we're going to lose this level and we'll likely be coming down another 40 or $50 billion down into this. This is going to represent probably another 8 to 20% drop in some of your alts. Some of you are so excited about the alts, the gains that you can get in alts, and it is exciting, but you have to know, and I've talked about it here on the channel a lot, when Bitcoin bleeds, when there's not just the trend is running away, when there's a little uncertainty in the market, if Bitcoin bleeds, alts are going to bleed. And so right now, as I've been sharing with you, remember the other day we were up $148,000. Now we're down to 115. Now this is a portfolio, the alt portfolio I've been sharing with the community here, and this is a position portfolio. So I'm not really making that many moves here other than things I'm willing to, basically cut out, or things that I'm holding or moving into to hold for, a good period of time. A lot of these alts we've been holding for months and months and months because we're doing the active trading in the Signals Lab and in the BitLab. However, there's also other types of people in the market. Some of you just want to figure out where to buy and where to sell on the macro trend. And that's what that portfolio is all about. So I can hold in that sort of that dip. And in fact, I'm going to try and find some stuff to add in today and add some positions, because we see on Ethereum kind of forming, let's go to a 4-hour chart. Ethereum to Bitcoin, kind of holding on to a razor's edge here. If we lose this, we may be, making a bit more, we may be making a bit more losses, coming down into this zone here, which would represent about a 3 or 4% further loss against the value of Bitcoin. This is the ETH to Bitcoin chart. But when we look at the ETH chart, look how bearish this looks. I mean, Impulse tried a double, basically double top here, also a double top here, also the rising broadening wedge. There were so many signals here, and this is what we talked about. We showed not only the loss of this channel, but also then on this attempt, it was a broadening wedge, which showed weakness, could not even get past this level. So as it stands right now, we're watching on Ethereum if it can hold above $3,500. And remember, I know a lot of you were saying when we were up here, it's not going to go back to 3,700 or down to 3,600. And this is exactly what it did. The two levels that I outlined is exactly where the price went, came right down into this. Let me make sure we remember we have that goal for 5 super chats. And if we get them, we are going to do a giveaway. Okay, we got one. So we might be pushing that giveaway to tomorrow. Now, looking at, again, if we lose 3,500, I think the price is likely going to fall a bit more. We might be making a move back down to 3,300, and then the next level down below that's about 3,000. Now, Link, also, look at this. Nice move up, rounded out, came back down, even lost this channel. If we lose 23.26, which we just bounced off of, if we lose this, then I do think we're coming back into the low 20s and then potentially even back down to 18. Does that hurt your feelings? Most of us feel like we didn't stack up enough. If this comes back to here, how great of an opportunity that's going to be to stack in before this runs away. I still think a Chainlink is as high as it is in the CoinMarketCap rankings. I think this is probably going to, if we look at it over the next 10 years, I think this is going to be one of the most important cryptos in the ecosystem. So if we can still stack down in here before this runs away to $70 to $100 to $150 to $250, guys, this is opportunity to the maximus. And then we got AVAX also. Look at this. Descending level of resistance came down. Now, in this case, this is actually looking a little more bullish because we got a bit of a falling channel here. However, if we lose this, I do think price is coming back down here to 35 and potentially below that. But I'm hoping more than anything, like all of you, this is a bit of a washout because we have not yet really broken through this trend line that started November 12th, bounced again, deviation, bounced and chopped around, bounce, bounce. Look at this with 2 wick deviation, wick, wick, wick. It's trying its best to hold on. If we do lose that, then I really do think we have a pretty good possibility of coming down here and potentially lower. But everybody, I'm super bullish. We are back chopping. Look at this. We are under $100,000. We got under $100,000 again. We got under $100,000 again. And so because of that, we have that BitLab deal going on when we're not running away from 100 yet. Any day that we go under $100,000, you can take advantage of that deal. lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. Take advantage of it while you can. And again, I do want to shout out our channel partners, CoinW. Thank you for all the support and providing what you can with what we're doing in the Signals Lab. That link is down below in the description. Also, if you're watching on Twitter, all the links are right there too in the first comment, but you'll see it on my page here. The free traders group right here. Of course, the BitLab deal link is right here. And if you want, oh, you can't see it. Right here, boom. This is a BitLab deal. This is a free traders group right here. All you have to do is sign up through the link right here, and it gives you a link for signing up through our CoinW, depositing $100. You get access to all kind of stuff in there. And then you have NordVPN. Make sure you're protecting yourself. Scams and stuff are coming back, and identity theft and hacking into your, having access to different exchanges right here, nordvpn.com/BitLab. Then, of course, make sure you're protecting yourself. Make sure you're protecting your future and your crypto. Head over to getarculus.com and use code BitLab20 for 20% off. But everybody, that's all I got for today. I got to run and host a space over on Mario Nafal's deal. But I love you. We're going to have some more content later this afternoon. That's all I got. We're going to head over to the blockchain basement now. Let's go in there and drop some love. Big love to every single one of you. Hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Remember, these dips and where we're at in the market and what's coming, dips are for buying. Just make sure you have the fortitude to hold. That's all I got. Adios. And thank you for the super chat, Falco and Crypto Billy. I'm excited to have you on tomorrow. Adios.